That is the bell, which means soccer is in session. Hello, my name is Madison Crews, and I am going to be your host for this podcast, and I'm so excited to be a part of the team. I'm very excited to be a new member here. I met Jason while calling a game for Kennesaw State women's soccer, and we got to talking, and now I'm a part of the team. But a little bit about me: I am a senior at Kennesaw State University. I have been covering sports since my junior year here with SDH Network, and I have been doing stuff from women's soccer to women's lacrosse, and it's been a lot of fun, and I'm so excited to get to do this and get to bring soccer in from all over Georgia to you guys. And I'm really excited to see what we can do here and to bring you guys some great content. Now, for this podcast, we're going to be talking about soccer all over Georgia, from each level, from college all the way to high school in the spring. It's going to be a lot of fun talking about all of these different programs and everything that's going on in these programs. So we're going to be doing a little bit of a recap of everything going on here. We're going to go through some really cool plays, some really cool players that had great impacts in the games, and maybe some interviews here and there. But it's going to be a great time, and I hope that y'all will tune in and listen in. Now, before we get started, a quick word from our sponsor for Kaiser Permanente. Soccer is in Session is presented by Kaiser Permanente. Live well and thrive. Let Kaiser Permanente take care of the rest. Now, a lot has been going on in women's soccer right now. A lot of the tournaments are happening, getting ready for the NCAA championships, which is huge. It's great that we're already in this championship sort of time. It's a lot of fun. It makes for a lot of really great soccer games. But before we kind of get into a little bit of the NCAA Division I tournament, I kind of want to touch a little bit on the Peach Belt Conference, which includes a lot of our local Georgia teams here. Now, for those of you who don't know much about the Peach Belt Conference, there are currently 6 teams from Georgia who play there. 6! That's crazy. I didn't even realize that was the case until coming on here and doing a little bit more research about that, but it's a very competitive conference. You have other schools here included from South Carolina and Florida as well. So, I mean, it's just a great conference, and I'm really excited to get to watch how these games kind of play out on Monday, and it's going to just be a great day of soccer. And now you have 5 of the 8 teams that are in the 2023 Peach Belt Conference Women's Soccer Tournament are Georgia teams. You have the number 1 seed in North Georgia. You have the number 2 seed in Columbus State, the number 6 seed in Clayton State, the number 7th seed in Georgia College and State University, and the number 8th seed in Georgia Southwestern. Now, the 1st seed in North Georgia and the number 8 seed in Georgia Southwestern are going to be facing off against each other November 6th at 4 p.m. And then at 7 p.m. that same day, you will have the number 2 seed in Columbus State facing off against the number 7th seed in Georgia College and State University. And then that same day as well, you will have at 5 p.m. in St. Augustine, Florida, you will have Flagler facing on the number 6 seed in Clayton State. So if you're looking for an afternoon of soccer on Monday, November 6th, I think I just found the outlet that you need to kind of get a little bit more of that soccer rep under your belt. Now, looking at the Division I schedule ahead of the NCAA tournament, where a lot of these conferences are going to be closing out their season with the championships, you have the University of Georgia in a phenomenal quarterfinal game against Kentucky. They were down a player and a goal before going into halftime, but the team persevered and had a 2-1 victory against Kentucky in the SEC tournament. Now, freshman of the week in Summer Denigan received a red card 3 minutes into the game after her elbow was struck by a Kentucky corner kick, which led to the red card, which set up the Wildcat penalty, which gave them the early lead only 3 minutes into the match. Now, going into the second half, Georgia was able to increase the offensive pressure, and in the 63rd minute of the game, Croy Bethune scored the equalizer with a beautiful assist by Mally McKenzie. Now, Mally McKenzie also scored the game-winning goal in the 81st minute. And keep in mind, they did all of this down a player. They were playing with 10 women for the rest of the match. That is some resilience from the Bulldogs, and they will be going off to face off against Texas A&M Thursday, November 2nd at 8:30 p.m. on the SEC Network. Now, the Sun Belt Conference Championship is currently going on this weekend. Now, yesterday on Wednesday, the quarterfinals happened and the Panthers lost to Old Dominion 1-0. Now, Old Dominion didn't score till the 84th minute, so the Georgia State Panthers put up a really good fight in that game. Aaliyah Fadul, who was the freshman of the year and was also on the first team all-conference for the Sun Belt, she didn't really have a lot of action in that game, had a couple of chances, but just Georgia State was not able to capitalize, and Old Dominion was able to score in the 84th minute, giving them the lead. Now, Jada Foos had a phenomenal game in goal as well, having 3 saves in that game, but a great turnaround in that quarterfinal for the Georgia State side, and it was a great season all throughout for that side. And the number 3 seed in Georgia Southern is going to be facing off Friday, November 3rd at 5 p.m. against Old Dominion in the semifinals. Now, this game was great. They were actually down 1-0 against Old M, and then Bree Conley came in and scored at the 80th minute to tie it up, so then it went to PKs. Personally, my star player of the week has got to be Michaela Miko, who was the freshman goalkeeper that came in for PKs during that game and had 2 huge saves in goal for that side. It was great to watch. What a phenomenal game it was. It was nail biting. It was great. Like, both sides really wanted it so bad, and Old M put up a really, really good effort, but Georgia Southern was able to capitalize and get on top of that. Now, those are some of the big things that happen in women's soccer here in the state of Georgia over the week. Now, to end it out, I had the opportunity to talk to Chris Adams, who is the head coach for the Georgia Southern women's soccer team. I talked to him a bit about that match against Old M and what preparation has been like going into this next round, into the semifinals to face off against Old Dominion. Before we even hopped on this call, the softball team brought in cupcakes for you guys for getting this far in the championship. I mean, that's just a really cool environment, I guess, like camaraderie to have in a school like that.
Yeah, there's great people at Georgia Southern. I mean, it starts, from the top, just with the leadership. Very supportive head coaches. We're very happy for each other when we're successful. We've got a group text that goes out, and all the head coaches will send you congratulations whenever you win. So this was a nice touch, from softball, providing some small cakes, a shameless plug for small cakes there, but nice surprise when we came back from our training session today with a nice little note from DoorDash. So much appreciated from Coach Perkins and Georgia Southern women's softball.
Awesome. Now, I kind of want to touch a little bit on the game against ULM. So ULM was leading in halftime. And so just talk to me, what was the message in the locker room before coming out for the second half of that game?
Yeah, I think before this year, we had not been able to come back. I mean, when adversity hit, a lot of times it was fatal, at least for that game. But one of the things we were able to do on 2 previous occasions was to go down this year, and come back and score multiple goals to win a game. I mean, we actually did that the last game of the regular season against Troy. So, it's not uncharted territory. I mean, obviously, everybody likes to play from ahead and be in the lead, but that's too idealistic. Sometimes you're going to go down and concede first, and you got to have enough character and wherewithal to stick together and find a way back into the game. Not making excuses, but the wind played a huge part in that as well. We were against the wind for the first half, and so that was a big challenge. Was playing against a very, very strong wind, and also what we knew was that we were going to get that wind at our backs and have that as an advantage the second half. So not ironically, both of the goals that were scored were with the wind. And so that definitely played a factor in it. Not to use it as an excuse, but I think whatever team had the win was going to get a little bit of an advantage.
Is that something that you guys practiced in practice today, kind of like playing with that wind as well and what the weather's going to look like tomorrow for that match?
Yeah, lucky for us. I mean, we played the morning game. We're playing in the afternoon. The temperatures have come back up. I mean, obviously, when you head close to the beach like this, I mean, we're really close to Orange Beach, and we're right here on the water where we're staying. So you expect it to be a little warmer than that. So a cold front moved through a little bit unexpectedly, but we preach control the controllables, and we don't control the weather, so we just have to make the best of that situation. And often whoever manages those variables best, comes out on top.
Yeah, and Bree Conley scored the equalizer in the 81st minute of the game. Now, how impactful has she been this season for your side?
Yeah, her maturation has just been really impressive to watch. Last year she didn't feature very often, and really she was just too inconsistent. With our substitution rules, you got to know when you roll somebody out there that you can count on them. And this year she just, has done a really good job. Has a really good partnership with Simone Tim. I mean, they both play off each other extremely well. It was a really gritty and just gutsy goal. I mean, there was a lot of want to from Bree to run as fast as she can and actually have to go to ground to kind of toe poke it, past the goalkeeper. And so just very proud of what she's given our program this season, and even more improved with just her maturation in general. It's not only on the field but in the classroom, and she's just become a very reliable young woman, which I'm very proud of.
Now, moving ahead into the PKs, you ended up switching goalkeepers for the PKs to the freshman Michaela Miko, who had two huge saves. And I mean, watching that game, she came out strong and it was great to watch. So, why did you make that switch? And was that something you guys practiced before? And also just talk to me a bit about her performance in that final moments for you guys in that game.
Yeah, I mean, once you get towards postseason, I mean, they removed overtime, a couple seasons ago, and so we're not accustomed to going into overtime. And then obviously, you don't do penalty kicks until you get to postseason, where you need someone to advance. And so, we've tried it a bunch of different ways. Sometimes maybe we've started practicing it too early. And I think when you do that, what happens is, the goalkeepers begin to know where the shooters are going to go, and then it kind of plays with their mind a little bit. But through the penalty kicks, Miko is a very athletic goalkeeper. A little bit bigger frame, and so she covers more of the goal, and also flies around in there. And so through the PKs, I just felt like it was clear that Miko gave us the best chance to win. So even with like 5 minutes of regulation yet left, our goalkeeper coach Mallory Sayer, went to warm Miko up because we had talked about it back at the condos the night before and put a lot of thought and time into both who goes into goal as well as who takes the kicks. So we had definitely practiced it. We felt like those were the people that gave us the best chance to win. And very pleased with them, being up for that moment, staying calm but confident, and doing their job, very well.
Of course, and this was the first penalty shootout won by the Eagles since they won the 2012 SoCon championship title. And now, was it a bit nerve-wracking to go to PKs?
Yeah, that's an understatement. My heart rate. I tried to look calm on the surface, but underneath, I was paddling like crazy. But it was. I haven't been to one in quite some time, and it's kind of one of those full circle moments. 2012 was a year. One of our biggest supporters, Emily Archer, was on that team. And so she's somebody that from day one, when I arrived on campus, she has supported us both with her time and financially, and just really put her money where her mouth is to get behind our program. And so it's kind of a cool full circle moment where someone that supported us, we go back all the way to when she was playing, not calling her old, but just that was a few years ago. And so we even stopped through when we bused to James Madison. We had dinner in Charlotte, and we stopped and saw Emily and her husband Austin, and they came and met us, when we were picking up dinner, and just said hello for a while. So it was kind of a cool moment to think that we're going all the way back to her. I think it was her junior year, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, where they won it. And, I've heard the story of going and playing Wake Forest where in the NCAA tournament, 0-0 at halftime. And then really the story probably should stop right there because the second half was not as favorable for our Georgia Southern Eagles. And so I believe it ended 5-0 Wake Forest. So, but just, really good accomplishment. And obviously it hasn't happened for quite some time, but it's kind of cool to have, that connection with Emily being on that 2012 team, and just how supportive she's been as well.
Now, and looking ahead, your squad is going to be facing off against Old Dominion, who were the reigning 2022 champions of the Sun Belt Conference in the semifinals Friday, November 3rd. What needs to be done in order to be successful going into that game?
Yeah, you got to be extremely disciplined. I mean, they are just a well-oiled machine. I mean, they are coached extremely well. They do their job, extremely well. They're tough to play against. Their player Turkaloo that plays for the Turkish national team is probably one of the, if not the best, one of the best players in our league. You have to be aware of where she's at any moment. She can take over the game and just, is really. They're a team that, because they're so well coached, they're not going to beat themselves. You really have to make plays. You have to be willing to take some risk and take some chances to beat them. They're just not going to beat themselves. And so, we've really talked about we've got to play to win. We've got to be willing to take some risk. We can't play not to lose. So it's really a mentality for us. And being at Georgia Southern, we've got a few slogans for mentality, and so we just got to be true to who we've been all season long, and have a GATA mentality.
Awesome. Well, that's all the questions I have for you, Coach. I really appreciate the time you talking with me today about this game, and good luck tomorrow against Old Dominion. I'll be watching. I'm rooting for you guys. It's going to be exciting to see you guys pull through.
Thanks. Go Eagles and hail Southern.
And that is everything I have for you guys here on this first installment of Soccer is in Session. I'm so excited to continue this podcast and to keep bringing so much more content to you guys. And I'm so excited to keep trying new things. But thank you so much again for listening. And Soccer is in Session is presented by Kaiser Permanente. Live well and thrive. Let Kaiser Permanente take care of the rest. Thank you so much for checking us out. We will have another episode out next week to talk a little bit more about the men's soccer tournament schedule that's happening all around Georgia. So make sure you subscribe to Soccer Down Here wherever you get your podcast, and you can catch it there. You can also listen for free on the Soccer Down Here app. You can download that in your app store, and you can check us out on soccerdownhere.net. Thank you so much for chatting with me. I'll see you guys next time.